one of my least favorite people in the entire world is John.
That was a live take from Satan himself. That's right, he don't like me, but he still did my intro. Star, baby. Woo! Star, baby. I know them all. Yeah. Because I've done them all. Don't tell my wife. What? Shout out to Sam, our producer, my wife who's here this evening. We the Bombers gonna now try and deliver some jokes. Hopefully you like them. Hopefully I say it better than I said that last word. But that's okay because I'm gonna cut this part out. All right, so.
Keep playing.
All right, story time. I worked at Whole Foods during the pandemic, and during that summer of the pandemic, we had a temperature check-in, and you had to get your temperature taken before you started work to make sure you didn't have a fever. One day I didn't want to work. I was out of sick days. They were super strict, like no time off whatsoever, unless like you tested positive for COVID, right? Well, I didn't want to do that. So on the way to my shift one day in like July of 2020, I cranked my heater up in my car. And as I was pulling into Sedona on the way to work, I put my forehead directly in front of the heater so that my forehead would be really hot. Well, when I got to work, I got to the temperature station and I did it a little too much. My temperature was 105 degrees and it was 105 degrees for 3 checks. They like checked me 3 times. So then I got sent home and I was like, success! About 2 hours later, the store manager called me and he said, hey, that temperature was really high and I was looking at the protocol. You have to prove that you don't have COVID and, take the next couple of days off. So I had to take 3 days off from work and prove that I didn't have COVID. So moral of the story is, if you need to fake a fever at work, you can hold your head in front of your heater from your car.
If a schizophrenic gets healed, do you think they're lonely after that? Like when all the voices go away? That's crazy, right? No, I told him it was crazy. No, I said that already. I said it was crazy. You need to stop yelling at me all the time. Hey, hey, hey! No hitting! That's crazy, right? I work in the service industry at a resort, and I recently got off of a 9-day holiday stretch. And it made me feel as though God had me, how they said he has the whole world in his hands, like he had me in his hands, but I was inside of a snow globe, and God was standing there going, look y'all, look, look at him, he shook, and I was like, getting up every day and trying to be the same nice, friendly John that I always am. And it was getting harder and harder, but I kept trying. And on one of the last days, I saw this old man that I work with, and every time I see him, I give him a hug. And I came in and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And I brought my arm around, and as I brought my arm around to give him the hug, he was walking at just like the perfect pace. It was like a slow fast. It was like a zoom, but with a hesitance to it. And as I tried to hug him, I missed the hug, and I started to fall. And I had never missed a hug before in my life. And that's when I decided that I'm not waving, initiating shaking hands, or trying to hug nobody who's not going to do it first from here on out. Because I don't want to waste my kindness and end up in an uncomfortable position. You see what I'm saying? Like, why don't people, when you wave at a person and it's the wrong person, why doesn't the person just wave back? Why do people always have to be like, no, not me, don't wave at me? You should at least just wave back. But because that kindness doesn't exist, because there's not that future technology of kindness there yet, I'm gonna just wait it out.
Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's divorce is finalized, and it ended pretty civilly. They both don't want anything from each other, and I feel like Keith really missed an opportunity here. If I was him in that divorce, I'd be like, yeah, and I'd get all of your wigs. Nicole Kidman wears wigs. Every time you see Nicole Kidman, that's not her hair. She's addicted to wigs, and I have a theory that she is a bald person. She just rocks a bald head. So Keith Urban, you messed up. You have a missed opportunity. Because there would have been one day, yeah, she could get more hair, but there would have been one day where she would have had to be bald-headed around her house. He's so great. Nicole Kidman is a bald British man.
As a kid, I used to do the Martin Luther King speech. I watched the I Have a Dream speech tape over and over and over again until I had it memorized. And then I would go around to different places and I would give the Martin Luther King speech. Not impromptu. I wasn't just running up in people's room, homerooms and being like, "Oh, I have a dream." It was the setting for it, of course. But what I'm trying to say is, I got really into Martin Luther King. I was one of those people. And I went on, I got older, I went to college, I learned more about Martin Luther King, and I have a quote that I keep in my mind, and maybe I shouldn't, but my favorite quote about Martin Luther King is, "I wish to be the white man's brother, not his brother-in-law." And the reason that's my favorite quote is because the night before I got married, I went to sleep and I was dreaming, and Martin Luther King actually came to me in my sleep, and he said, "Jonathan, it's me, your idol Martin Luther King. How have you been, Jonathan?" And I was like, "Oh, hey, Martin, how you doing?" He said, "Oh, fuck all of that, Jonathan. I was wondering what you're doing in the morning, because I looked and I saw that you are engaged Now, I may not have some issues when you having sex with a white woman, but for you to marry a white woman is a completely different thing. Jonathan, you've gone a dream too far. Jonathan, that's a nap too far, Jonathan. I'm dreaming, Jonathan. Wake up, Jonathan. And then I woke up and I got married and I've been so happy. So, Martin Luther King wasn't right about everything.
I started doing stand-up about 17 years ago when I was 17 years old. And at the time, I started out with like a bunch of dumb jokes about my parents and about the Avatar movie that had just come out because I didn't like it at all. I thought it was dumb. And now here I am 17 years later, still doing stand-up, and there's still an Avatar movie in the theaters. So it's got me thinking, is it 2009? What the hell? It's 2009 right now. It surpassed $1 billion in the box office, and I'm just wondering what kind of new submarine is James Cameron gonna buy or build? What kind of submersible is he gonna craft? Who's gonna fall victim next to the research of the deep ocean? I swear, dude, I'm so scared of the octopus. If the octopus figure it out, we're screwed, okay? Theory time. A couple of summers ago, a bunch of crabs went missing, and by a bunch of crabs, I mean like tens of thousands of crabs off the shore of Alaska. And a whole fishing season, a whole crabbing season, if you will, was squandered. They sent a submersible down to the peninsula of this coast of Alaska. You know what they found? A horde, that's what they called it, a horde of octopus. My theory is, they're recruiting their army, they're figuring it out. If they can get onto land and bring all these crabs up, I don't know what I'm gonna do, dude. And people who have pets as octopus, like if you have a pet octopus at home, you're a weirdo and you should be on some list.
Ain't that the truth?
What the?
I have a friend who has a bootleg Fire Stick, and he uses it to watch bootleg movies. He tells me that every time he watches it, a little sign comes up that tells him, hey, you're watching a bootleg movie. He just clicks it as hard as he can. Like, he doesn't say him like things like, click that shit, man. Get that shit out of here. And I think that's funny. And I was talking to him, and I was like, you know, when I get home, sometimes I'm so stressed out that I reenact that scene from Boys in the Hood with Cuba Gooding where his friend, he doesn't get in the car, he goes to this girl's house, he's all like, oh, man, mess with me, and mess with me, and he's swinging and he's getting all bad and stuff like that. And my wife, she goes along with it for like 30 to 45 minutes. She'll stand there and she'll be like, okay, baby. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was so, oh, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, and then what happened? Oh, that's so bad. And then around that 44th minute, she'll get me in the room, and then we gonna, turn on something on Netflix, that she wants to watch, because I've already used my time that I should have used to choose the movie on throwing a temper tantrum. And I told that to my friend, and he looked at me and he said, that's wild, bro. And what really sucks is y'all gotta watch movies that already came out too, huh? Y'all gotta watch like regular movies, huh?
Yep.
So, what I like to do in my regular life is I spend my time taking things that are maybe mild inconveniences, and because of my life is so good, I just turn them into tragedies. I get really sad and worked up about really small things to the point that it's just a real woe is me type of situation. And I have to kind of fight my way out of it. And I said that because when I was going to work those days, I began imagining myself to be a soldier. Like I was fighting some sort of invisible war, and each day was just a different leg of that war. And I was entrenched, and I was just down in the dumps, and I was looking for a way to get myself out of that situation. The only way I could get out was by going through. And that's when I told myself, Jonathan, not only are you a soldier, but you're the footless soldier. Because the footless soldier doesn't just stand up in the battlefield. He stands with both of his feet directly up his enemy's asses. And he uses their arms and legs to walk across that battlefield. And that's the way that I got through that fight. And that's the way that I fought. And when they shouted at me, I shouted back. And when they and when they go on, I'll sing them all. I am a footless soldier. I went to work several times.
I recently had to take a shot to the glue while I was in the hospital. And while I took the shot to the glue, I was making jokes as if I was Forrest Gump, and I said, the best part about getting shot at the buttocks is you can eat all the ice cream you want. And the nurse looked at me and she was like, do you want some ice cream? And I was like, no, you stupid bitch, I'm quoting Forrest Gump. God. Get a sense of humor. And yeah, give me a cup of vanilla ice cream. That shit hurted.
Sorry. I think that this is just me, and I know that people aren't going to agree with me, but it's my opinion, and I'm going to say it. There has to be a limit to how black you are when it starts to go against you. The other day, I came into the back of the place I work at, and they were all arguing, and they were talking about gum and different types of gum and what types of gum you use and when you use them for. And then one of the black people, actually Desmond from Dirty Desmond's Dunkin' Sauce, he looked up and he said, I'm too black for this. And I immediately looked up at him and I said, hey, that's sad. That's sad. Don't let your blackness keep you from a delightful conversation about bubblegum. And what part of blackness says, hey, you are now too black?
So I think that we're good on that part. I just need to do one more thing with it.
When Usher was producing the track, Yeah, he submitted the beat, the song, everybody wanted to get on that track. He didn't deny a lot of people, from getting on there. One of the people he had to deny was actually Christopher Walken. She said, "Come get me." So I looked up at her and followed her across the floor. I said, "Baby, let's go." And I told her, "Yeah. Yeah." He had to deny Christopher Walken. Can you believe that?
I've got a praise report. I've got a spiritual update. I'm not a non-practicing Christian anymore, guys. I've moved past that. I'm something else. Now, I'm in the CIA. That is short for Christian in action. Meaning that not everything I say is gonna be the kind of shit you want to hear a nigga say. But the stuff that I do, that's gonna reflect the righteousness of God in my life. So you better not be fucking with me when you see me say shit that I might not be all the way there. But when it comes time to do this shit, oh, I'm Christian in action. I'm in an action. Yeah. Praise report. I want to say something, and I don't want people to take this the wrong way. But if you send me something on the internet, it better be the funniest thing I ever seen in my life. It better be the funniest thing I ever seen in my life. I got stuff going on in my life. I'm taking time out of my day to check this little video. If it only makes me go, I'ma block you. The stakes is high. They got time to waste. I'm 34 years old. You're gonna show me something that's just barely funny. Why don't you just ask how I was doing? Why don't you just tell me what to borrow some money? Huh? Do something while you're doing nothing. No, I just tell you doing nothing. And I'm gonna let you say one last thing and then we're gonna switch over. But let me say this last thing too, because I thought I was finished. Let me say this last thing. One thing that's great about living in a small town is that you can tell a lie and people don't really have much of a choice but to believe you because there's not that many people they can ask. So lying is really fun. The other day, I was walking down past the basketball court and I stepped over there and I said, "Yo, throw the ball up. I'm a donkey." They said, "We ain't throwing the ball to you. We ain't gonna pass you the rock." I said, "Oh, for real? Well, that sucks. Cause I'm Michael Jordan's nephew, bitch." And I started walking away and they said, no, we got it. And they threw the ball up and I just walked the other way and left. Cause I ain't gonna let them ever find out. And they'll never know. If you live in a small town, start lying. Because at first it's gonna be fun. Then everybody's gonna know you're a liar. Then you gotta lie more. Because if you lie enough, it becomes the truth again. I was just informed that if you lie enough, it doesn't become adjudicated.
Okay, all right. No, you could stay right here. What I was gonna say was, I've been sending my husband TikToks that he doesn't reply to, so then when he gets home in the afternoon, I try to show it to him in person. I genuinely do think that they're funny and that he would enjoy them, but then he says, why don't you just say hi to me? And then I say, well, hey, and then he just walks away. So I don't know what to do anymore, if I should show him the videos in real life or if I should keep aggressively flooding his inbox and DMs. Really the only way I feel connected to him is by checking his location and knowing where he is at night.
Okay, cool. So cut that, and then that's all of our stuff. We'll do our songs.